Hi, I'm Jason Sterling. I'm a member of the EA Creator Network, and right here we have the Brindleton Boathouse. This is a starter in beautiful Brindleton Bay. It is going to be our next opportunity here with Gentrification. Now, I'm going to change the name of this to Grandma's House or Grandmother's House, something like that, Grandmother's House. And we're going to take a tack with it that it is for like a retired single grandmother, right? Grandmother. Now I'm moving my Reginald family in, my RM Cascadian family into this particular structure. And we're going to go in here. I'm going to show you real quick, even though it's a starter home and even though it does come in under 20,000, it's really large. It's actually a pretty large home. There is enough space here. I mean, already it's outfitted for about, really 3 bedrooms. We'll go upstairs here because you can easily, and we're going to eventually fit 2 bedrooms up here and a bath. You can have a bedroom over here and a bath again easily. And then we've got a huge area that can be used for living, kitchen, and dining. Now we're not going to use this entire area in that fashion because again, this is grandmother's house. So we're going to design this for someone in the later stage of their life. Whatever it may have looked like originally when she was younger, we're going to redesign it for someone of that age. And what we're going to do, we're probably going to leave this mostly empty. We're going to put a single bedroom down here on the first floor. We're going to tuck a bathroom in here. That way, again, someone who's older is going to be a lot more comfortable long term with having at least 1 bedroom downstairs. So if something happens mobility-wise, they don't have to worry about going up and down these stairs to get to their bedroom. Now, long term, once we go to the second stage, the more true gentrification, we're going to outfit this with the bedrooms upstairs because mostly this will stay empty as well. We don't need it as a starter. And we're going to change this area right here into an income property. So Brindleton Bay has always struck me as kind of like a small college type of town, like not a large major university, but a small, maybe well-respected college type of town. So we're going to build an income property on this side that, grandmother could rent out to supplement her retirement income. One place where we're going to save a lot of money right off the bat. Let's take a look at this. We've got a house, says it's $16,465. That's always a little bit wonky because of the way it prices things in the Sims when it comes to land. And you have a Sim living there. We almost have to save it to the gallery to see what it actually costs when you have someone living there. And I went ahead and moved somebody in, so that makes it a little bit tough. I don't really want to move them out, but you can see here. According to this structure would be $17,645. So about $1,000 more. Then one way we're going to actually save a lot of money right off the bat, we're going to make the stairs here, a single staircase, which actually makes more sense. That was a pretty palatial looking staircase for this type of house. And we're going to take out that part underneath. That's the big change. That's what will really save you money. Take out that wall. Even if you go in and put in a regular wall, it'll still be cheaper than using that built-in structure under the stairs. Now, if you put in a regular wall, the stairs won't be open to the first floor. But again, in a house of this era, they probably wouldn't have been. They probably would have been enclosed. We're going to take a quick look here. The cost now for this lot, as you can see, $16,925. So about, $700, I think, less than we were looking at. I should have made a mental note. But I think about $700-800 less just by making those 2 changes. And most of it was bulldozing that built-in structure underneath the stairs. We're going to go in and we're going to frame this out as our, actually, let's do it like this, as our new bedroom and bathroom. We're also going to take out the fireplace. Again, it's really cute in a starter to have a fireplace, but we really just don't need it. It's really too expensive. Another thing I do with starters, no toilet paper. I'm sorry, you guys. No, that's $40. God, that's worse than COVID. $40 for toilet paper? You're just going to have to pretend there's a little roll of toilet paper there on the floor next to that toilet because that is way too expensive. Then we're gonna move a door over here. Probably we'll change that door out, but for now, we're gonna take out all of this wall. So we'll move this stuff around a little bit. My thought is to, of course, make a kitchen and dining area. We really don't need a huge dining area, and I'll likely change out that table, but I do want to have some sort of small in-kitchen dining. And the remarkable thing is, you can see here, you know, cutting a bedroom out of this space and a bathroom, it still leaves a huge living room. It still leaves a huge kitchen with an in-kitchen dining space. Now for the bathroom here, you can see with this layout, I went ahead, just kept the basic cheap stuff. I'm sure this is the cheapest we've got. I'm not entirely sure about the shower, but I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's $300. We're not going to get any cheaper than that. We are going to draw a wall across here. I'm tempted to use a pony wall there if I run short on money. And I might run short on money, and I might need to do that. We're going to move our bookshelf out there. This is going to look absolutely fantastic, and we're going to save ourselves $200. $200. So we're going to put that there as our front door. And again, later, we can still use it as the entrance for our income property. In fact, it's pretty nice as an entrance, you know, for an income property. This area is definitely going to be, I could leave the desk up here, but again, since I'm building this for a single older person, I'm not going to. Now, this is the furniture we have with this particular pack. We did get some new stuff with cats and dogs, but it is expensive. Like, this is $700. It's super cute. I love it. And it does this also. This is cute. This is $600. I mean, it does remind you a little bit of grandma's house, right? Especially my grandmother. Again, I don't know how many baby boomers are going with this style, but say 20 years ago, you know, like your grandma 20 years ago probably had a couch kind of like that maybe. But this is $180, right? So I'm always stuck with living room furniture because the Sims will sit on almost anything and it just usually doesn't change. I guess this is a lot more comfortable, but it doesn't change their attitude that much. I'm gonna go with that. It gives it a nice warm tone and it's got that pretty pattern on it. So let's go with that. It does look like something Grandma might have bought like at a crafts fair or arts fair or something. So I'm gonna grab this and we'll put it here. Now these chairs are $40 sooner or later. Okay, so new it's 50. Right now it's reading 45 because that's the depreciation thing in The Sims. This is about the cheapest we're going to get, except for like a folding dining chair or something. So let's go ahead and we'll keep these chairs. Okay, so these are the Suburban Outlook windows. They're $55 each. We do have cheaper windows now. Now I really like these because they have obviously these shutters on them and it does give it a really nicer look. Grab that cheap ass cabinet. I really don't like those. I might change those out. It's really, I say that all the time. If you've ever watched any of these, you probably know I might do this, I might do that. And then everything costs too much money. I'm like, nope, can't do that. Because I'd rather use this. It's got a much nicer look. This is really nicer. This has got a much nicer look. But this is so cheap. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with this. I can do it with less cabinets and then maybe use more expensive cabinets instead. Isn't that nicer? Isn't that, or that, I love that. Isn't that nicer? So we can save money by going this route. And this is a really nice fence. It looks really good. So we do like this and this. It comes in red. That's pretty. And it comes in blue. Ooh, I do like the blue. I'm going to try to change these to a blue. I do need to put some more paint in here. And right now, kind of not digging the paint. I think I'm going to go with white. All right, now real quick, I went in and I put in a computer. I did put in a computer for Grandma. She's already got some books. I threw in a little television set and an art easel. That'll probably be the extent of our activities for her. I mean, if I could come up with a toy box or something that was cheap enough, I think that would be really cool to kind of tuck under there. Because again, you're going to expect that she's going to have her grandkids come over to visit. The cheapest toolbox is $200. Really, Maxis? Do you hate children? Do you hate children? You don't want them to have anything to play with when they come to visit Grandma. I might go ahead and still tuck that under there and then change this to carpet for the kids. One thing I can do is I can take this out and go ahead and take that out. Let's take some more of that sort of lighting out of there. And then we'll grab our puck lights and put them into a few areas. So we'll put one in here. Now later, of course, we'll build a bathroom here, bedroom here, bedroom here. For the second stage of gentrification. So we'll kind of put that in there. It looks pretty good, not too bad. The cost of the foundations is all the same. We could do something like this. Also has some blue in it, has a nice lattice work underneath. I don't really mind this particular foundation, but since it's not brick like the rest of the house, it gives the impression of being an add-on. So the lattice work to me feels a little more kind of country and kind of rural. But for the moment, this is what we've got. I'm going to go in here and we're going to put an actual decking on it. One thing I could do with this particular sort of elevation is we could just pull this roof all the way across. So we could do something like this. We would have to, of course, lower it quite a bit, to lower it considerably. It's okay. Probably want to change out this roof as well. So we end up with something a little bit more like that, which is not bad. Okay, this is our debug menu for cats and dogs. We've got some rocks. We've got a lot of poop. We've got a whole lot of poop, right? Check that out. That looks almost like a kid's toy. It actually does. You know the little donut things you put on the stick, you know, when the donuts get smaller and smaller? It does kind of look like that. So we've got lots of poop, lots of rocks, got a couple of fishing signs. Let's see here. I have to admit, I really want to give Grandma a cat. I really do. So I'm going to have to see if maybe I can afford enough money, at least for like a cat bowl, right? Cat bowl or litter box or something. Okay, so I went through the rather tedious process of adding in a little bit of a sort of picket fence there, which does look good. It's very, very cute. We're going to move this. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. I don't know. Maybe we'll put it right there. Okay, so I grabbed a bunch of landscaping, and then I did come across this little decorative item here, which I think is pretty cute. Like I said, a lot of older people, kind of patriotic, right? So we'll kind of throw that there on our front porch. I grabbed this guy. I could also put him outside, but I think he might be kind of cute in the house. It looks like the sort of thing, again, you might find in Grandma's house. It's kind of a little decor item. I wish we had more choices like that guy, because it would be pretty cool to scatter some little statues around. That's about it so far from what I found. Now, I found a lot of landscaping. There's plenty of landscaping in Debug, and it's all free. We've got a few things like this little box and this little sort of, you know, I don't know, like a crab catcher, maybe a crab trap. So I am thinking that a few of these little things could also work. Actually, I really kind of like this as maybe like a coffee table. It's not a coffee table, and it's not really going to work like a coffee table, but it does have some charm to it, and it is free. Now, I might put this outside. It's kind of big. I might shrink it just a little bit so it looks a little bit smaller. But I could put this outside. She does live on the beach, and I could kind of see maybe her kids, you know, or something, grandkids, dragging it down that little pathway there, right? Drag it off down the pathway and kind of set sail on the bay. Okay, so right now we're still on stage one of the gentrification. This is about as far as we're going to go, because mostly I want to focus on stage two. Now, a lot of times I do stage one and stage two as separate videos, depending on what we're going to do. With this particular build, because it is so large, the actual home itself, there isn't a whole lot else to do. It's just a lot of floor plan work. And then I did, you know, make these sort of changes to the exterior. The last thing I'd probably do when thinking about it, if I was going to use this as a starter, I would probably go ahead and just put the bathroom back here and create a larger sort of master bedroom here on the first floor. Be a lot more realistic. So we'd put the bathroom here, move a door here. I'm not going to paint everything. I'm going to just kind of map this out. And then eventually in this particular space, I would do a walk-in closet or like a pass-through type of walk-in closet or something like that, right? Something where we'd be hanging clothes walking into the bathroom. Or you could put the bathroom here and put the closet on this side. A lot of people would rather walk through the closet, I think, to get to the bathroom or walk through a sort of hallway with storage closets on each side. Put this here to kind of represent that. Personally, I'd rather go through the bathroom into the closet. 2 houses now that I've lived in, that's how I've done it. It saves room with having like extra doors in the wall of your master bedroom. And it just doesn't bother me. It's not as though the bathroom's so palatial that you have to hitchhike across it or anything like that. So it works out fine. So this is basically what I would do for a floor plan for a starter. We've got kind of a little formal living room here, combined family room, dining, kitchen back here, and then room up here for, in the future, 2 bedrooms and a bath. Okay, now I went ahead and rolled this back. We're going to get started here. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to move the stairs. We're going to relocate the stairs there. That'll be our new entrance to the 2nd floor. And then we're going to completely divide off this space. Now, of course, this is for Grandma. You know, Grandma is a widow. She lives by herself. Her family visits often, but she lives alone. She's moved here to Brindleton Bay, which in my game, I like to imagine Brindleton Bay has a university here. Kind of a small sort of regional type of university, so maybe like 15,000 students. A good number of them do want to live off campus, and this would be one of the options for them, a sort of income property, a little apartment attached to a house. This gives Grandma, gives her like an extra income stream, right? Maybe to save back for a rainy day. Also, it provides an extra layer of, this is real world talking, and this is real world stuff, but it provides an extra layer of kind of security and safety because there is someone else on the lot. If something, you know, it would maybe discourage, you know, sort of nefarious people from coming up if it looks like there's a younger person living there along with the older person. Now, it is a small space, but I think we're going to be able to really pretty easily define this into like a bathroom and a closet area, maybe like right about here. And then we're going to do sort of a bedroom area right about here. Kitchen all along this wall, and then a living area here. We're going to use the cabinetry from Parenthood. It's actually some of my favorite kitchen cabinets. I really, really love. I love like the handles on them, you know, the sort of drawer pulls and stuff on them. I love the sort of quartz type countertops. And then the wood is a very nice neutral. It's a warmer neutral. It's not really light, but it's also not really dark. So we're going to go through here and we're going to put in, I'm going to put one here by the, this whole thing is going to stretch this whole length. Even though part of it's technically going to be in the bedroom, we can use this as kind of a dresser for the bedroom. And then we're going to put some cabinetry like that. I think we're going to have a refrigerator, a stove. Now I'm a little bit torn on the cabinetry because with it being a rental unit, I don't know that we'd want something super fancy unless we really did think maybe one of our own relatives were going to be living there. But at the same time, if I want the wood to match, I'm going to have to use this fridge, right? So I am going to go ahead and use this fridge. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and take this out. We're going to put this particular size cabinet here so it looks a little more built in. Since it has the same wood color, that's kind of the point, right? To have this sort of built-in look. And then we're going to grab the stove that also coordinates. Now, one thing I might be a little bit kind of unsure about. This is really crowded. Really, 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 really crowded. So I've got to, and then I'm going to swap everything around like we see here. Right? So I'm going to swap everything around like we see here to give us a free cabinet space next to the stove. We're going to move the refrigerator here, which is a little bit odd next to the bedroom or that close to the bedroom. In a way, I mean, this is a studio, you guys. So in a studio, your bed is always close to the fridge. But I did kind of think if you wake up in the middle of the night and you're kind of peckish, right? It would be right here. Like you wouldn't even really have to wake up. You know, in fact, if you slept with your head at this end of the bed, you might even be able to just reach across that space. Pluck the door open, pull something out of the door, right? Just eat it without even getting out of that bed. This is like the 600-pound life dream, right? This is a 600-pound life dream sort of apartment. So we're going to call it good. We're going to go with that. Does this door come in red? I'm going to do red. And then you've got kind of the red door that leads to our income apartment and the blue one that leads to this the house. The house as a whole. And then maybe in this kitchen, when we do it, we'll do the appliances in blue. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled in a bed there from Growing Together, and we're going to grab a bar stool, also from Parenthood. Again, the woods will just match really well, make it look like a suite of furniture. We bought all this together. This bed I just love because I just love the colors in it. I love orange, and it's got a really great look. Now, what I want to do next is I want to build a sort of divider. I want to build a sort of divider for this room, but not a true divider. It will look like a divider, but we're going to build it out of these modular cubbies from the Design Home Decorator. I want some of the cubbies on this side to open in towards the living room, and then I want some of the cubbies on this side to open into the bedroom, but I want them to line up without a wall, right? I want them to be against each other, just facing different directions. So we're going to build a bit of a divider here, and we're going to start by building just a little C-shaped group of boxes. And then temporarily, I'm going to go ahead and take out these chunks of wall because I don't want these units to auto grab onto it, auto click onto any of the walls. We're going to take these out as well, of course, like so. Then we're just going to grab this unit and we're going to turn it this way because we want it to be facing the bedroom, and I want it to be right up against the wall. That's why I took the wall out there. It's because I want it to appear to be, built this way against the wall. And if I try to set it that way, it's going to grab it, kind of lock it on there. Kind of like this, like that. Yeah. So we're going to set it like that. That's why that wall's gone. And then we're going to grab these. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. And we're just going to line them up visually. We're going to try to anyway. Come on. Okay, so I ended up having to go in and place this 1C that's looking at us. The one I'm not holding, I had to place it first. And then I could go in and place this one, and they would stop trying to lock together. So here we go. Ta-da. So what we're going to have is something that looks like this. So on one side, we've got openings into the bedroom for storage, and on the other side, we have openings into the living room for storage. Ideally, I would love to do every other one, turned to a different room. That sounds like a nightmare in my head to try to do. I guess with Tool Mod, it would not be. Maybe I think I could select just one of these and swing it around. So at some point, I might do that. I doubt if I'll do it before I upload it to the gallery. Yeah, I doubt that. But that is something you could do, and I think it would give a really cool design feature for this sort of look. To put in a television in the middle of this, and I want to look like it's attached to a pole, to this light rope pole, right? So I want to give the impression that it's kind of attached to it. And then the idea would be that the TV could swing around. So if you want to watch the TV from this side, you would swing the TV. In fact, let me grab a TV. Okay, so there's our TV in place. And if you want to watch TV, right, from the living room side, you would swing it this way. This is real life. This is real life how it works. And then if you wanted to watch TV from this side, from like the bed, you would just swing it around and watch it from the other direction. This is something I've seen used in like hotels and cruise ships. If the room is big enough that it has a seating area on one side and a bed on the other, I've seen them put the television on a pole like that, and then you can swing it around depending on which direction you want to watch it. Okay, so I'm a little bit at a quandary with the living space. Now, what I would do in real life is I would just put these sort of chairs around a dining room table so that it's more like a club type chair around the dining room table, which you could do in real life because you could either find a dining room table that was maybe a little bit lower, or you could have it adapted in some way. And then, if you're just sitting there watching TV, you can do it next to a table, right? I mean, I might even use wingback chairs or something like that for that purpose. So just pulled these because I happen to like them. So I think we're going to, and they kind of match the bed a little bit. So I think I'm just torn. We can't really do it. You know, if I set it up like that, which is what I'm doing, not if, as I set it up like that, the Sims will not actually use the table for dining, right? They'll sit in one of those chairs maybe to eat, but they'll just be eating kind of on their lap. The other thing I really have to be mindful of is I don't have a lot of room in this space with the door, right? Because right now this is really close to that door. And in fact, so close that it doesn't really work. I mean, we really need something more like this, really. And take that out, take that out. And then maybe just a table here for two in the end. Now, one thing we can do, you know, I've been playing around here with this organization. We could move this over just a little bit so that we have just a little more room over here to play around with. That gives a little more, you know, then we could kind of grab two of these chairs like this. And then we would end up with the seating arrangement, you know, just kind of like this here, which I do like. Like I said, the Sims won't like it. They're not going to want to use, you know, they're not going to want to actually use the table. But I do want to try to make sure I have the chairs pulled back enough that they will use the chairs. And so it does give kind of at least the impression that they can use this table for dining, or they can sit here and watch TV, kind of, you know, angle the chair a little bit. And do double duty as both a dining room and a living room, which is, like I said, what I would do in real life. That's how I would arrange this particular space. In this little space right here, that's where we're going to build our closet. So we are going to go ahead and we're going to put like a design home decorator style closet in here where it looks like clothes hanging from a rack. It will just be an open closet. I've gone back and forth on that. I might seal it up. It would be, we can seal it up, and the Sims will use a 1x1 tile closet using the Dream Home decorator assets. So we might do that. In fact, I might go ahead and just do it that way. And then this particular door I use all the time. This is like my old trusty. We're going to put it in there, and then I'll put the things that we need to use as a closet in there. Now to the house, to the main house. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the second floor and I'm going to outline our floor plan. Then we're going to work on the kitchen, which is going to be a lot like the kitchen from the income property, from the rental apartment. Okay, so this is a pretty simple layout. As you can see, it took me literally like 20 seconds to do this. You come to the top of the stairs. You've got kind of a little hallway. Off to one side is an entrance to one bedroom. Off to the other side is the entrance to the other bedroom. I have thought I might go ahead and, we could make this a little bit wider so that it doesn't feel quite so cramped when you come upstairs. So we could do something like that to give ourselves a little bit more breathing room when we get up there. And we've still got, two pretty good sized bedrooms, especially for our house in The Sims. This is going to be used maybe as like a sort of an adult room over here, and then maybe a kid's room over here, or vice versa. And again, our second bath for this house. Now, I'm left with a little bit of a quandary before we get started here. Another quandary. Obviously, here on the first floor, we only have one bathroom, and that is for the owner of the house. We really could use a half bath here on the first floor, although guests could go upstairs and use this bathroom here. I mean, that's not entirely out of the question. She is an older person, the person that lives here. She's a widow. She's grandma, remember. She's our grandmother. So her friends are probably going to be older as well. And there's going to come a time, that's why we have the bedroom on the first floor, where the mobility issues might make that a little less practical. So we really could use a bathroom here on the first floor. So my thought is, we maybe try to build one in here. I'm going to take a look. I don't want to run out of space. We do need like a family room and a dining room and a kitchen here, but we could do something like this. We do this, and we built kind of an entryway here for the front door. We can do an entrance for the bathroom, and then we have our family room here on this side. We also could put it over here, opening directly off the family room. I always feel like it's a little awkward to have a bathroom directly opening off of a living space. Now, off of the entryway is not too big a deal. And if we had to put it over here, it's not the end of the world. My other thought too is we're going to at least mark out the idea of a coat closet under the stairs here. Since we have all the money in the world, we can pretty easily just go ahead and grab a door and we'll just kind of put it here as though there is storage under the stairs. Now for the kitchen and the dining area, ideally I would like a little bit larger dining table, like a table at least for 6 over here. We're going to take out all of this particular, although I don't really mind those cabinets, we're going to take them out. I do mind the appliances, the cheap ass appliances. I mean, your poor grandmother's going to set our house on fire every other day with those appliances. So I'm going to do nicer appliances, of course. I'm not real sure what I want to do over here. My thought is to go ahead and keep it as an office, but do an office setup using the kitchen cabinetry, just like we did over in the apartment. So that's probably what we're going to do. We're also going to swap out this kitchen tile. I mean, I'm going to tile the whole space like this, but we're going to swap it out with something a little more upscale. I might actually keep the wood flooring. I like that a lot, and I liked it over in the income apartment as well. So yeah, we might keep that. Now for tile, I don't know. I think, my thought is to go ahead and just maybe put in the kitchen stuff first. Okay, so what I did here is I went with a little bit of a sort of modified galley kitchen. So we have a little bit of a galley setup here, although a lot of it's given over to our office space and just storage. And then the cooking area will be right here with a sink here and a dishwasher, of course. Now, the reason why I went ahead and put the cooking area here in this sort of modified setup is because that still gives you the opportunity while you are cooking to interact with people here in the family room or even here in the dining room. Because this, does break up the space. It makes it less open, but I still wanted the people in the kitchen to be able to have that feeling to be included in everything else that's going on. We're going to get rid of this dining room table and chairs. We're probably going to swap out the light fixture. Probably. Now, I don't think we're really going to have enough room. I really don't. But one thing we could do is I'm thinking we do this, put this here, take this window out, and we just push the table up against the wall on one end and do, 6 chairs around it. But we put 2 other chairs that match those chairs elsewhere in the house. And then if we have a really large group of people, we could bring those other 2 chairs and pull this out. And even though it would be crowded for that moment, it's usually okay. If you're having kind of a family dinner and everybody shows up, everybody's there, it's okay to be a little bit crowded while they're there, right? It isn't like it's always like that. And I think that's pretty common with a lot of sort of family setups. Now we do have this, and this has always been a big favorite of mine. I don't know, again, if the wood's really going to match what I want. We've got something like that, or that's not bad. I do like that. And I like the fact that it's a glass top because it is a little less impactful when it comes to the visual range. You don't feel quite so much like all of the space is filled up when you're looking. I can stick with red or I can go back to that. Okay, so, or I can change it to blonde. We've got that. That's not too bad. I do like that rich color of the wood, sort of red tone to it. I don't like the fact that the refrigerator is so plain. It comes like this where the refrigerator is more of a, I guess, a black. Okay, so I went ahead and settled with blue for the cabinetry and tan for the appliances. So instead of the appliances bringing in that color, went ahead and just reversed it. Let's just put the tan on the appliances instead of the cabinetry. We'll make the cabinetry a very bright, brilliant blue. That could fit in for like a real life idea because you might want to keep the apartment a little less colorful just so that it appeals to more people. But Grandma here, she loves color and she loves the color blue. So she's going to go ahead and put that in place. And then I grabbed these particular chairs from like Tiny House or Tiny House Living or whatever it was called, right? Because the tone of the chairs, the color of the wood really does match the color of the wood in the table very, very well. Okay, so as you can see, I went through a lot of these tiles. I almost said files. Went through a lot of these tiles, and this is pretty typical of a lot of the stuff I sort of edit out, is this sort of looking at these different options, because it takes a long time for me to kind of look at it and think. I think in the end, I'm going to go with just this plain looking tile. I really did like the patterns, and I might end up putting the pattern back, one of those pattern tiles. But at the same time, I don't want to get too crazy and busy until I'm kind of set on where I'm going with the walls, where I'm going with maybe rugs. This is a little bit calmer of a residence, right? This is Grandma's house. Now, Grandma could be crazy. You know, Grandma could be into all sorts of stuff. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I do need to go back. Maybe I'm just gotta wait. I gotta wait for her to speak to me. I gotta wait for her. I'm waiting for the spirits. Come on in and fill my head and be like, I'm the spirit of Grandma, and that's not who I am. Change it, type of stuff, you know. Because I will change it. So, Grandma, if you're listening right now, fill me with your knowledge, fill me with your spirit. Tell me what you want in this place, and I will be happy to alter it to suit you. Okay, now in the meantime, I did decide that this was really just too tight for, you know, being 3 long for this dining area. I want to make sure this dining area does in fact work. I know it'll work like this, and it really looked too tight as well. Now in real life, you might actually find something that is that tight in someone's home, but in general, I think we're going to be looking at something more of this sort of setup. So that's what I went back into. I can always change my mind and move it back, but I do think the Sims will find this easier to use. Now, in order for this to work, we're going to have to move the toilet and the sink just a little bit into the wall. Make sure it doesn't go out the other side. Move the sink back like this. Let's see here. Yeah, it's still good. We want it to be just enough back that it's going to free up enough space for a Sim to walk through this door in here, use the toilet and use the sink both. I think that'll work. It'll definitely be play tested. I mean, I know it'll work eventually. Just got to get it to exactly the right spot. But I've done this all the time to have it a 1x2, you know, sort of powder bath. And this does, I mean, this is pretty, I feel like, accurate for a powder bath. It doesn't have to be, you know, really large, does it? I mean, in order to kind of satisfy what you need the space for. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put a little chair here for our desk area. I'm going to play test this, but I'm probably going to leave it no matter how it turns out. It is a little tight. It's a little tight here. Now, the Sims should use this spot. I'm seeing if any of these chairs are going to match, you know, this woodwork, because I don't think they do just right now. Well, maybe that does. Maybe. Yeah, it does. I guess it's got that little tan as well, so it's close enough. The Sims will come and use this particular area as a desk area, but I don't know how easy they'll pass behind. So they might want to enter from this side or walk all the way around and enter from this side. I don't know. We'll test it out and see what we end up with before it is all said and done. That's for sure. Let me grab that, put up there. Oh, so we've got this one. This is a toy box, right? Isn't it? Yes, this Wonderland chest, that is super cute. This is from the brand new Wonderland kit that just came out, which I love the Wonderland kit. I love the way that looks. Some people were kind of like, you know, they didn't like, well, always someone doesn't like it, right? Right? Always someone doesn't like it. And that's fine because everyone has, you know, different tastes, different things they do like. But I saw several people who were just kind of like, didn't really like it at all. But I did love the Wonderland pack. I thought it was super, super, you know, inventive. Just love the sort of feel of it. I liked it. I'm going to put that there. We might grab another. Maybe we'll grab a little stuffed animal or something to put here. This is Grandma's house, so she's probably going to have toys everywhere. I might throw a few more toys just scattered around when I'm doing some clutter. Because, yeah, I mean, I think Grandmother always... Oh, hey, Chucky! Well, let's put Chucky here. Let's put him over here. No one ever forgets you, buddy. There you go. He's my friend till the end, you guys. He's certainly going to help me later with Nancy Landgraf. You know, that's a good idea. I think he will. I think I'm going to put a Chucky doll in Nancy Landgraf's suite at the Bella Corday Palace, the Lemon Tree Road I made. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's a brilliant idea. I'm so glad I thought of that. If I do say so myself, right? Okay, so we've got that. We're going to probably still keep this. I don't know if I'm going to keep in that color. What color does it? Well, let me look and see what all type of furniture we did get. I think I might want to use a full-size sofa. Again, what is this? It's grandma's house, so we really need to have a lot of seating for when you come to visit. Don't want you to feel rushed. I don't want you to feel, like there's no place to sit and stay. Grandma wants you to stay all day. So yeah, for sure. Let's put in maybe a sofa there. And we've got enough space here for those 2 extra dining room chairs. We're going to take that out. I'm going to grab a big TV, like a built-in sort of look maybe. I don't want to feel too crowded here. But again, I think doing a sort of built-in look with these particular cabinets would definitely fit with the design of this house. We're going to give this a little bit of a built-in type of feel there, which is a little bit old-fashioned, a little bit more of what I think of in terms of probably like the 70s leading into upwards of the 90s, mid-90s, late 90s, where you're going to have kind of a built-in entertainment center in your home like that, like literally built when the house was built. I don't know if they do that so much anymore because, once it's there, you're kind of stuck with it and taking it out is a real hassle. But I'm thinking like with grandma, probably her other house had something like that, right? Because it's going to be from that era. And so she's going to be fine with it. Maybe that's what she's actually going to really want. Now, that said, I don't want to feel too crowded here, and this living room is not super, super big. I need to see if I can free up. Can I move this? I can move it a little bit. I can't get it too much. I can move it a little bit, but I think I'm going to have to move it. I do. I think I'm going to have to move it. That's the but, because I'm thinking of these different things and running them through my head, but I think we could put a TV here and maybe use a pony wall there. And I do think that's going to feel a lot more open. Now, we won't have a built-in that case. Okay, so I put in a little pony wall here. I took out the other stuff. I moved our TV over. I might put these chairs upstairs. That would free up some more room here. And then we're going to use more like living room furniture, very comfortable sort of living room furniture, wingback furniture here. Now, here in grandmother's bedroom, I really want to put in a closet over here. By the bathroom, we'll have kind of a dressing area over here. We're going to move the bed to this wall, and we're not going to keep that bed. That was just a cheap bed, right? Cheap bed that fit with our restrictions as far as packs went with the last build out. This can go over here. This table, again, we're going to change those tables out with something a little bit nicer. And then we can go ahead and we'll frame out this particular area here for a closet. Now, I use a particular closet that I've already built that I have inset mirrors into the closet doors, and it's in my gallery. Yeah, there it is, closet with mirrors. So it gives kind of the impression of a mirrored front closet. This was very popular. I don't know if it still is as much anymore, but with my first home, that's what I had, was mirrored panels for sliding doors like this in the smaller bedrooms. So I still like that. I think that's great. Gives you a lot of space to check out your look before you leave, right? So I still really like that. So that's what I did. But I'm not going to. I'm going to use this bed, I think, that came with cats and dogs. In fact, that's what I'm going to go ahead and use. Need to swing this around. We've been leaning in pretty heavily with blue in this particular build as maybe one of our colors. I think I'm going to change that up a little bit. I don't know. Either we can go with this darker blue, which is almost kind of a little purpley, right? Or we could maybe just change it to something a little more plain, or we've got some leaves here. This is really nice. I do really like this. I like the fact that it's white, kind of works with the chair, and we can throw in some white end tables, much like we did use in the apartment next door, because they have a very small profile. So I think that is what we're going to do. So these particular tables came from Spa Day, and as you can see, we can kind of line them up there, and they fit really close to the bed and kind of work great when you're using just a 3 3x3 space instead of a 4x3 space. So it would tie, and I like the profile of that. See how it's very slim up against the window. Very low. It's low enough for the window as well. And it's got a great kind of traditional look to it. I think, all right, we're going to slide that right in there, just like so. And we're going to take a look at the bathroom here. Now, I am kind of debating a little bit what to do with this bathroom. The realism side of me says to do a roll-in shower, right? Naturally, we would want to do a roll-in shower. And we can do that in the game now. So we're going to take out this sort of thing there. Maybe we'll put the toilet over here. Again, we can put bars on each. We don't have these in game, but in real life, we could put bars on each wall so that it'd be easier to get up and down as mobility becomes an issue. And then we'll use a pedestal style sink ultimately. I was thinking about using this type of sink all through all the bathrooms, but I think in this one I am going to use a pedestal style sink of some sort, because the idea would be if you're in a wheelchair, you could roll up to the sink, right? You could roll up there and it would be easier. So let's frame in our roll-in shower, Now I do have two options here. My first thought was to go ahead and just put an archway there. We also do have the sort of shower style doorway now. So I think this is our only option. It's going to be from the Love Struck pack. Put that here maybe like that. I don't know, what color should I use? We got that. We got blue. The blue kind of matches the kitchen. We'll go with that. We'll put that there. So we've got this sort of setup. I also think I might do a glass enclosure like this. So there's a little more, it leaves a really weird look there, but there's a little more sort of openness to it. Now you might think Grandma might be too shy to shower here. Maybe someone's using the sink. Grandma is not like that. Grandma does not have people over. Okay, only Grandma's in this bathroom, and someday maybe a caretaker. And if Grandma does have people over, no, she's not shy. She does not care. She's going to just let it all hang out in here while you're here brushing your teeth, right? So if she's going to have someone over, she's not going to be worried that they're going to see her taking a shower. Hell, they just saw her naked. Why is she going to worry about them seeing her take a shower, right? Okay, my thought is that probably this sink here from Dream Home Decorator is probably going to be our best bet. It is the one that has the biggest appearance of something that you can roll under, that you could roll right up to, and it could be on your lap, right? So we're going to go with that. Okay, now here on the second floor, I've already kind of come in and grabbed a couple of beds, a little toddler bed and a little kid's bed as a bunk bed type setup. I have not fully decided if I'm going to, arrange it this way or arrange it the other way. It's really tough. There aren't a lot of toddler beds that actually match the kids' beds, so it's made it a little bit hard. I thought it might be fun to do kind of a Western theme in here with Horse Ranch. We're going to go ahead and take this one, though. This is the one from Horse Ranch. Looks like a nice, cute little farm, a little barn there. So we'll go with that one, and we'll shrink it down just a little. Actually, I tried this real quick. I went ahead and grabbed it. I think I'm going to go with that. It does have more of a rural sort of feel to it, and it's a great sort of, because it's a country-looking little scene, right? It actually looks a little bit like Brindleton Bay. It's not from the Brindleton Bay Cats and Dogs expansion pack, but it has a little bit of that sort of feel to it. So I think it's super cute. I'm going to keep it here for kind of a rural, look at that water tower, right? Nice rural idea, little sort of farming community where our farm is. That's what we're going to roll with. I'm going to stick here with this size. Oh my gosh, this roof's going to drive me crazy. I don't normally put, and I didn't do it in this case either. I don't normally put rooms under roof lines for that reason, because it does a lot of that sort of rubber banding up and down, right? And like I said, and I didn't do this one either. It came that way. We're going to pick out maybe, oh, that's not too bad. I kind of like that. I really dig the mid-century modern colors of like blue and orange, and I'm real tempted to just leave something like that. But I also want it to fit in a little bit with kind of our Western theme, and all brown like this, all this dark brown fits in a little bit better with that because it does match the wood tones of the bunk beds and stuff like that. Okay, so I did find a rug there, and now I'm looking for our entertainment center or entertainment system, right? This one, the fun is 8, so it's hard not to select it. I do think something like this or this is cuter, but then the fun's only 5. And I also kind of felt like a little bit, since you're at grandmother's house, it might be the older video game system, right? Like that she's had since your dad or mom or whoever was like totally young too. So I don't know. I mean, I want to do. I guess it doesn't matter. Is fun? Is a 5 high enough? Probably. Let's see what kind of colors this comes in. I can always change my mind and just swap it out for that thing there. You know, the new one, that new hotness there. It's actually not that new anymore. That's city living. That was a long time ago. We're going to throw in these 2 chairs here. Again, this is something I might swap out because I do like them and I think they're cute and they're like in the kids kind of catalog, but they're not really Western. They're not really fitting the Western theme. In fact, now that I look at it this way, they really are not fitting the Western theme. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out. I'm going to take those out. Now we could do, this actually came from Horse Ranch, but I don't know. Does it seem like too much for a kid's room? It's not super big. It's not any bigger than those other chairs. And when you're a kid playing video games, you do need comfort because you're going to be sitting there all day long. When in fact, there's been times in my life, now I don't do it because I play mostly on PC. But when I was younger, like playing like on Super Nintendo, I literally would pull a chair like this over right in front of the TV because I would be there just like all day, literally all day, you know? Let's see. Now, I can't forget the ever needed light fixture here, the one that keeps them from getting so upset. This here, I love this one. It always reminds me a little bit of Pikachu. So we're going to make that a little bit smaller. Put it here by the baby's bed in particular, although it's probably this guy. This guy's the one that's always freaking out, right? I don't know if toddlers are they even bothered by the monster under the bed? I don't think so. I think, as I recall, I mean, I don't think I recall ever seeing a toddler be bothered by it. It's always like the child that's bothered. So really, I should probably put it up here by his head. But he probably like, I'm not a baby. I'm not scared of no monster. And he would insist you put it by the toddler, but in reality, he wants it. So that's how we're going to read that one. That's how we're going to play that one off. Okay, I went ahead and threw in, of course, a quick bathroom over here. It'll need a little bit of clutter. We need to come up with a little bit of clutter as we go along. Actually, for the whole place, I'll go in and probably throw in a good bit of clutter you'll be able to see in the pictures and stuff because it is grandmother's house, grandmother's home, grandma's house sometimes is a little bit cluttered. You know, she's been around a long time. She's got a lot of stuff. Kind of just puts stuff out. And sometimes I think it's kind of like, well, I left it out so I could find it, right? Heard that more than once. More than once I've heard that. Well, I left it out so I could find it. And pretty soon, like, everything's just left out, right? So we'll throw out a few clutter around, including in that bathroom. We need, like, some, towels. Toilet paper. Toilet paper might be nice. We're going to use the same bed setup as we did down in the master bedroom, but we are going to change the sheets, to a different color. We'll make it a lot more sort of neutral there. Nice yellow, nice neutral. Wood to match the wood of the end tables. We're going to put an artist studio over here, of course. Again, much like we have downstairs. You know what? No, actually, we're going to put the kiln and the pottery stuff up here. In fact, I'm going to make this kind of like her little pottery studio, but at the same time, it is used, it does double duty as kind of a guest room as well, either for friends or for when her family comes. But in reality, of course, it's kind of her art studio up here. We're going to start off with these basic items, and then I'll go through and see what kind of clutter we can fill in from, I guess we could look a little bit now, some clutter from this particular pack, the small business pack. And really, aside from like some wall decor and general clutter, this place is pretty much done. I mean, it was pretty quick upstairs. Upstairs is a relatively small area. I think this would make a great family home. That I made it for grandma's house. It would make a great family home. There's plenty of room here. Might have to change a little. I don't know. You could put a teenager in here maybe, and just like little kid over here or little kids over here. You could take out the toddler bed, put in a desk under there instead. And then we do have a, full master And an apartment, a rental apartment. If you've got, what is it, like university, you can have roommates. So you can make like maybe where the roommate lives, or for rent, I guess you could do it as a rental. Could do it as a rental if it works. Check first. Don't kill your game. Don't run your game. Make sure it works. Now, I would love to put some playground equipment out here, and I think I could. I could also go ahead and just scoot the house over. So if I scoot the house over, I'd free up more room over here in kind of a little side yard. And I bet I could put some swings and stuff out there. That looks pretty good. And then we'll go back over here. And now we've got a much larger area out here in which to put a little bit of kids' playground equipment. Now in the end, if you're not that sort of grandmother, like you don't want your grandkids coming over, you don't want to like babysit them and stuff like that, you could do a little garden back here or something like, along those lines. Now we do have this new stuff, of course, from that adventure pack. I do really, really like this. It feels a little bit too big for this size of yard. That's kind of why my little bit of hold back there. I mean, it really is a substantial piece of equipment. I mean, look at that. That's pretty good size. Now, that said, it would work. I mean, we could do... I thought about just doing a plain swing set here as well, instead of this larger sort of thing. The thing I like about this, toddlers and kids will play on it and have quite a bit of fun. I hope this will work sticking off a lot. I'll test it. I mean, if in the end the pictures don't show it, then when I play tested it, it didn't work. So like when I saved it and then placed it down, to make sure that when it places, everything remains where it's supposed to remain. It didn't. It didn't. So then I went in and changed things around. Okay, and that is going to be the end, of course, of this particular build video. Please hit like, subscribe, and notify. Actually, one more thing I'm going to throw out here real quick. I was thinking of this, is a rocking chair. Grandmother could use a rocking chair, of course, here for the front porch. I'll probably put some knitting by it as well, but let's start with maybe just something... I'm going to go with this, I think. It is a little fancy. It is a little fancy, but I do think... it looks so nice. It's got those comfortable, cushions and stuff like that. I don't see, where's the knitting basket? It's just not just called knitting. We can't just call it a knitting basket. Where is it here? The Knitter's Almanac. Where's the basket? Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay, let's see here. It's going to be named something incredibly clever. But we'll see if we can find it. We'll just go ahead and sort this out here. Nifty Knitting. It's got to be in here somewhere. Here we go. Now, what is it called? Basket. Yarn basket. What did I put? I put knit. Yeah, I put knit. Knitting basket. So this is a beginner's yarn basket. This is the not beginner's yarn basket. I don't think there's any difference between them except for the price. And I guess if you like this style, this is a really cool style. It does have like some little pockets there on the outside. I'm gonna go with that. Let's go with that. We'll put this here by her chair to sit and knit and rock. There we go. This I got out of Debug originally as a sort of decor item. I don't know if I'm gonna keep it or not. I haven't decided. If I do keep it, I'm gonna move it over here for Grandma to sit at while she's doing her rocking chair stuff. Let's see if there's a little table we can use. Something like this. I'm gonna do something like this. That looks a little bit like, I think, like the sort table you see on Grandma's front porch, right? Like some old piece of furniture, and she's like, "Oh, I'll just set that out." No, don't throw it away. Don't throw it away. No, it's still good. No, don't give it away. Don't give it away. I've got a use for that. Put it on the front porch. We're like, well, it's going to get wet. And yeah, it's just going to look weathered. It's going to be so pretty. It's going to give it a nice patina. I don't think that's a patina, Grandma. I think that is chipping paint, falling apart, warped wood. But she's going to have it that way. She is going to have it that way. So we're going to leave it. We're going to leave it exactly like that. But please do hit like, subscribe, and notify. The pictures, I'll start right now. I'll start putting the pictures of this build up right now. So you'll see whatever rug I end up picking here. It'll be a surprise. Put it here under their chair. I'll try to remember to put this photo last, since it's the last thing I'm doing. And you can have, like I said, like kind of a surprise there of what rug I end up picking for this particular, for Grandma's area here. So next time we're going to be working on another gentrified project. You know, actually at some point in here, next time might be Nancy Landgrab's vacation. Nancy Landgrab goes on vacation. That's what I'm going to call it. Nancy Landgrab goes on vacation. The Queen of the Damned is going to go to Bella Corday to her own private little retreat in the 4th level basement of my Lemon Tree Road Palace. That might be the next video. That might be the next one I do. But we'll also do more of these gentrified videos coming up. I can't remember. This is basically both videos for this neighborhood, you know, in one. This Brindleton Bay. And I don't remember which world was next. The Magic World? Was it that one? What was that called? I don't know. But maybe, like, you know, the magic pack that we got. My mind's drawing a blank on what it was called. Realm of Magic. Okay, so Glimmerbrook. Maybe Glimmerbrook is next, or I don't know what else it could be. At some point, too, I'm going to go in and do the vacation worlds. So those also will be included. I could look at maybe throwing a vacation world next time. Either Granite Falls or Selva Dorada or Batuu. Batuu, everyone's favorite. Batuu from the Star Wars Adventure Pack. Everyone's favorite. But I did some really cool builds for that. And so it is fun to build there. You need to use cheats to build there. But it is fun to build there. Now, probably by this point, the pictures are done. We probably have settled on final shot. So please hit like, subscribe, and notify. And until those upcoming videos, until that time, thanks for watching.